What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I got a few new upgrades for my 300 Blackout pistol that I did a video on a little while ago. In that video I mentioned I was going to put a light on this thing. I've had some questions on it, and I got another accessory that we're going to throw on this thing, so let's jump into it. Now, if you haven't seen the breakdown video I did on this gun a little while ago, I'll try and link that below. But I've got a lot of questions and comments and things like that on that video, and I'm more than happy to answer any question that I have the answer to. I try to answer most of them. And one of the questions I just got the other day was, have I put a light on it since then, and what light did I throw on it? We're gonna throw that on today, but the light that I got is new to me. I haven't tried one of these out before. I believe you pronounce it Colaris. It's a weapon mounted light. This thing says it's 3,300 lumens. It's got a throw distance of 370 feet. Nice thing about this light is rechargeable, has an M-LOK mount, can be used as a standalone flashlight, stuff like that. And once we get over to the bench, I'll show you that a little bit closer. Maybe I'll even get some footage of it at night and see how this thing actually works. Now, another thing I'm gonna try on this is a hard charger side charging handle. I've seen these before. I've never tried one on one of my own guns. To be honest, one of the first videos on the channel that I did was a comparison between different charging handles, and this guy commented on that video saying that this was the best charging handle for an AR style gun. We talked back and forth a little bit. I told him send one out, I'd try it out. Then I never heard anything for a while. And then roughly a year later, this thing showed up on my doorstep to try out. So I'm gonna throw this thing on, give it a whirl, see how this thing works. And then maybe at the end of the video, we'll hit the range, shoot this gun a little bit, and show you guys how this thing looks once I get all these new parts on. So let's jump over to the bench real quick, and we'll look at this stuff a little bit closer. All right guys, so here's what we're working with. We're gonna go over this light first and foremost. Like I said, this light is new to me. It says it's got 3,300 lumens, and the throw on this thing is 370 meters. This is what the light looks like. It comes with a remote switch. It comes with the M-LOK mount to mount it on the gun. And yes, I have had this thing on the gun. Let me show you how I have it set up. So this is the mount that comes with it. You can either have it mounted sideways like this or up top like this, and that's how I've had it mounted. It also comes with a pressure pad that goes up top, has plenty of cord, and then it has the tail cap for that pressure pad. Now, it also comes with a normal kind of standard tail cap on it that you can use as a normal flashlight. So you push that button, operates on off as a normal flashlight, and then it's also got this little pad that strobes it if you wanted to. So you can pack this thing around just like this in your pocket if you wanted. Use it as a normal flashlight, or you just pull this tail cap off, slap that on the gun, and then screw on the pressure pad tail cap right on the back of this thing, and then you're good to go using the pressure pad. That front pad's kind of a momentary on off. So if you're holding the pad, it's on, you let it go, it's off. And then that back button turns it on all the time. I think that looks pretty slick. That's nice and tied up against the gun. Doesn't add too much bulk to it. And you can adjust this wherever. This is M-LOK, so you can adjust it wherever you want. I believe they also have some different kind of offset mounts and things like that that you can buy to go with this light. One nice thing about it is USB rechargeable, so you can charge that thing up. And then, like I mentioned, it does have plenty of cord that I just kind of jimmy rigged on here with a zip tie. I do need to get some sort of cable management for that, so if you guys have any recommendations, let me know down in the comments, because I'd really like to get something that ties that in a little neater and cleans that up a little bit. But I don't think that looks too bad on there. When I got this thing out at night, it does shine nice and bright. I'm not sure if it's exactly 370 meters like they claim, but it is plenty bright, and it has a nice throw to it. This thing is impact resistant as well. I think it said like 1.5 meters of drop impact resistance. It is waterproof up to 2 meters as well. So I'm gonna try this thing out and see how this thing works. Obviously, there's going to be those guys in the comments that say if it's not a Surefire or a Streamlight, it's not a light at all. But, you know, there's a lot of different lights on the market that work out well for a lot of people, and I am not opposed to trying a different brand of light. And, you know, if it's reliable for me, if I have no problems with it, I'll run it. I have no issue doing that just because it's not a name brand. As long as it works and it's reliable, I'm perfectly fine running an off-brand light on my gun. And like with all my videos, I will have a link in the description that takes you to my website, where I'll have links and more information for the stuff that we talk about in these videos. So make sure and click that link if you want some more info or want to know where to pick some of this stuff up. And now the Devil Dog hard charger. This thing is actually pretty sweet. I've looked at them before, like I mentioned. Here's what it comes with. It comes with an Allen wrench, some instructions, a QR code that takes you to their website. It's got a promo code and everything like that on there. A couple stickers, and then the hard charger itself. So essentially what this does is it replaces your charging handle with their charging handle. And that's what that looks like. That goes right in your gun. And then this, I believe they call this the receiver. This is what mounts on your gun. So this essentially mounts to one of the Picatinny slots. It has this kind of stabilizer tooth out front that stabilizes it up against the receiver. And it turns your rear charging AR-15 into a side charging AR-15. So I know they have a couple different combinations of this. They have one that this mounts on the rearmost Picatinny slot on your receiver. They have one that mounts on the frontmost Picatinny slot. Then this one mounts on the third Picatinny slot from the rear. So they have a bunch of different options depending on what optic and how you have this thing set up. You can make one work for your situation. So for like a cantilever mount, if you have an LPVO on your gun, you would probably want the foremost receiver that mounts that all the way up at the front so it doesn't get in the way of your mount. This one I can kind of move stuff around. I just have a red dot and some backup irons on here. So I can kind of move that stuff around and make it work with this one. So I'm going to break this thing down, show you guys how this thing goes on, and see how this thing works. Now, YouTube reviewer that's looking at this video, I am not changing this gun. It's just swapping out one charging handle for another. It's not changing the rate of fire, making it unsafe. I'm not modifying this gun at all. I'm just swapping this charging handle for this one. So that's how that thing turned out. As you can see, I put it on that third Picatinny slot. I did have to move my backup iron sight back just a little bit so that would fit on there, but that's not a big deal because now you don't need to have access to get your fingers on that charging handle, so that can hang out and it sits about flush right there at the back of that. This side charging handle does kind of fold forward, kind of lays flat out of the way, but that functions smooth. And for a setup like this where I don't have a cantilever mount with an LPVO or something like that, this setup works perfect because the red dot I can kind of move back and forth wherever I want and place it where I want to. I don't have to worry about eye relief or anything like that. And that side charger, yeah, it does add a little bit of bulk to the side of that gun, but not a whole lot. And you can see that little tooth that just kind of braces it right there against the upper receiver. I thought that cycling this thing back and forth, there may be a little bit of movement in that, but that seems pretty solid there. That's not moving at all. So that was a quick and easy project. Throwing that side charger on, I think that'll kind of be nice, because I did find that occasionally when I was charging this gun with the normal charging handle, that the bottom side of my finger when I was hooking that, occasionally I would hit that folding adapter that I have on there, just because that was kind of right there in the path of charging that gun. So this will kind of be a nice upgrade for this gun. So let's jump back up off the bench and kind of look at this thing as a whole. So that's that. We got that thing thrown together. That's what that weapon light looks like on the front of that thing. I think that doesn't look too bad on there. That's pretty bright. I'm trying not to shine it in the camera, but it's nice that it comes with that pressure pad that has the momentary on off and then the full-time on and off. And it's not too cumbersome or in the way. I can still get to everything that I have on this gun. My backup sights, I can still flip them up. Easy access to those. And then that side charger. I think that thing turned out pretty sweet. It has that lever that kind of flips in, kind of give it a little more of a low profile fit. I think they do have different levers for that as well that you can purchase and get a different fit for it, but that's how that thing functions. They do say there's a little bit of a break-in period on it to run it for a little bit and then pull it back apart and put some more grease in there, because this rod in here is greased up pretty good, which makes sense. But that thing is a lot more solid than I thought it would be. And I'm kind of excited to try that thing out on the range. Speaking of the range, let's go shoot this thing. All right, guys, I made it up to my property. As you can see, it snowed, so that's good. Not really, but I got my target set up about 50 yards away. I'm going to be sighting in this 300 Blackout. I'm going to try and get the red dot sighted in because I've had this thing on and off multiple times. And I'm also going to sight in my iron sights. And I'm going to be doing that at 50 yards. I know there's a lot of controversy about what you should sight your gun that's chambered in 300 Blackout in at. This is what I'm sighting it in at. I think this will be perfect for some supersonic loads, and if I ever run subsonic loads, which I don't very often because I don't have suppressors or anything like that, so what's the point? I got a couple targets down there, 2 torso targets. One is a steel target and the other one is an infinite defense target. If you haven't seen those are pretty cool. They're a self-healing target, no ricochets, no nothing like that. The bullet just goes right through them, and then the next time you go out and shoot, you can just hit them with some spray paint. They look brand new. You can put thousands and thousands of rounds through them. So that's the targets I'll be shooting. I will have all this stuff that I'm talking about or using over on the build page that I'm linking below. So make sure you go check that out. Let's shoot this thing a little bit. Not even hitting it. All right, so that was a good time. We got that thing sighted in. That charging handle ran flawless. I can still co-witness and get to all my accessories that I have on here very easily. Nothing is kind of in the way of anything else, and everything is just working perfect on this thing. If you haven't seen the other video I did on this, I'll make sure and link it below. You guys can go check that out. It's kind of a breakdown overview of this whole gun. And also, if you guys want to support the channel and get some channel merchandise, I've got hats, shirts, hoodies, all sorts of stuff like that. I'll have a link below for that stuff, as well as a link for my parts list for everything I've done to this gun. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have tried one of these, how you like them, and then also what your suggestions are for some cable management stuff for this weapon light, because I do want to get that tidied up a little bit. But as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll check you guys next time.